see here. Yep, we are live.
Well. We had some technical issues on our end that we got fixed up, and while we were not live, the field decided to, we weren't live for some reason. They thought, let's wreck it all up, and thought they were going to get screen time. They did not, as a lot of wrecking would happen. We do not have the footage to show, but our second caution of the day did not come from our initial carnage, as a lot of our front runners caught up in big messes. As Timmy McNally, he was one of our front runners trying to challenge for the lead. He gets hit by lap traffic. His race is practically done. He had to go into pit road to service. He was in pit road for 9 minutes. He's now 11 laps down. Also got to see Scott Rickard. He was involved in a wreck with a lap traffic machine. He's currently going to have to cut his way through the field. And Chris Wade, somehow, he avoided all the wrecks. Same for Nick Holland, as a lot of drivers under green flag pit stops costs a lot of time, but with the timing of this caution, all the drivers should be good to make it to the end. But right now we are green, and it's Andrew Midland somehow is up front. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Hunter Hayward. Hunter, we're green, but we were shaking our head while we were off air.
Oh, definitely. I mean, everything just went crazy after we had some software problems. I mean, wow. One of the fastest cars all day, the 88 McNally, having trouble with the lap car in front of him, wrecking, entering pit road. Oh, man, drivers, the 05 of Rickard getting hit by a lap car spinning on the backstretch. I mean, calamity ensued while we were gone. I'm sorry about that, folks. Very interesting thing that went away while we were away, but right now we got a two-way battle for the lead. Medlin having the lead for not very long, but now 3 wide and 7 to Kevin McCoy. The 68 of...
Hold on, boys. McCoy, he's got to wrestle this thing down, and will do so for the 7. As he's able to blow this thing down, the 4 is going to have to go around. Still 3 wide action. McCoy finally gets settled, but he's going to drop all the way back to 9th place, as the whole entire field got shaken up front. Bill Dart now going to get into the wall, as he'll now get losing ground, going back to 10th place for the 77, which what caused our first wreck, our first yellow, our second yellow of the day. That was Bill Dart, and also the 29 of Doug Hoper that made the contact. Dart able to use a fast repair, but immediately he's got damage for himself. This caution certainly did help a lot of drivers up front. It helped Medlin, it helped Holland, but biggest help had to be for Travis Butt, who was one of the drivers extremely off sequence, really didn't have a shot to win the race, and now he's in the mix of things in third.
Just a very interesting set of circumstances for the 7 right there, sitting at 3 wide. The arrow taken off his nose from the 2 cars side by side towards him. Arrow loose from the car and just sent him around. Thankfully, good ice for him, the 68 and the 12 of Medlin, for avoiding that wreck. That would have been very scary. 29 to go. The 7 saw that clear space, and he did it. You know, right now the 12 of Medlin still having the pressure of the 68 of Holland. Holland said, I ain't going anywhere, buddy. The 12 of Medlin trying to pull away the best he can. 28 to go. Oh, man. I'm really rooting for this 12 of Medlin. Really good all day, but right now the 68 so fast today as well. It's going to be interesting to see how these drivers, what lines they're going to do, how their tires are going to be affected, and how bad that 68 is going to be affected by the 38 of the car in front of them.
If we're basing it off of what we were seeing during the first stint of this race, it was a lot of seeing Nick Holland up front for the first about 5 to 10 laps into a run. And these drivers already have some worn-in tires for our front 2, as the tires they are running are the same set that they had at the green flag pit stop they had about 15 laps ago. So it is a mixture of drivers that pitted under yellow and those that didn't. The drivers that pitted under yellow, that's Travis Butt in 3rd place. And then also you've got that of Eric Schwartz, Offerman, Watson 7th place, as well as Travis Dart and Bill Dart. Got to worry about Bill Dart. He's got some damage for himself. And you also got lap traffic trying to unlap themselves. Leading that charge is the 18 of Dr. House, Paul House. He's in 22nd officially, but he's trying to be the first car 1 lap down just in case a caution does wave. And he's battling currently with the drivers that are in the top 10.
You know, and Sam, as you touched on the fact of how Nick Holland just really quick in the shorter run, not as fast in the longer run, almost 700ths to a tenth slower now last time by than the 12 of Medlin. Right now the Medlin taking care of his right front, has that clear to the nose, no dirty air of a car in front of him that picks up the nose of the car harder on the right front, like the 68 of Holland is experiencing, like the 00 Butt is experiencing. All of these cars right now just trying to, save the right front as much as they can. Not many laps to go. We have about 25, 26 to go. Right now, the Medlin, the 12 car Medlin, the one to watch right now, but also the 20 of Holland, the 20 of Offerman is there. Same thing with the 13 of Schwar. He was really good in the beginning of the race, kind of fell back towards the middle of the later of the race when we went away, and now he's back up to the front trying to battle for fourth.
Also got to touch on the fact of the driver that's in fourth place and side by side with Schwar. That's got to be Chris Wade. Wade started this race all the way back in 27th place, right now battling to be in the top 5. Currently, one of those drivers, when the yellow flew, he was in first place, so he's got the, this race goes green. Certainly a driver to watch out for the longer the run goes on, because still our top 6 all within a second of one another, and if Offerman's still doing the same strategy of saving his tires, he's going to be a driver to watch out the longer the run goes on, and watch out in those final about 10 laps or so.
Check this out, 00, but already running quicker times. Saved that right front much better than that 68 of Holland. Now on the inside of Holland, looks like he's going to try to apply the pressure to the 12 as best he can. 24 to go. Right now I think the 12 of Medlin really good in the long run, like we've seen these past 3-4 races. I mean, right now I think he's hoping for it to stay green. Wow, it's interesting to see what these cars are doing. All I know, all of them are fast right now, but the 68 of Holland falling like a rock right now, all the way back to now almost getting passed by the 20 of Offerman. Very interesting. We knew that the 68 was really good in the short run and not very good in the long run, and right now it's showing again.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
caution.
yellow waves, caution, going to be waving for themselves in the back half of the field. It's the 11 of Brian Chu sideways, and this is going to reset a lot of drivers. And the driver that is first car 1 lap down, Paul House, lucky dog spot for the 18.
Definitely a really good spot. Any driver wants to see Lucky Dog, but unfortunately, Lucky Dog usually is in a position where they can't pit for tires, nor can they start in front of anybody on a restart. You get your lap back as a Lucky Dog, but the only unfortunate part is you're the tail end of any line, even the longest or the shortest line, like they always say. But that's the unfortunate part. Just not enough time. It's going to be around 20 to 18 laps to go on this restart. It's going to be interesting to see if any drivers come down for tires, right sides, or anything. Looks like the 12 of Medlin is going to go down, but let's see who follows. 00 does. The 13 stays out, 53 of Wade, and 68 of Holland all come down.
You got to remember the field, a lot of them, about half the field was trying a 3-stop strategy under green. The other drivers were preparing to have an extra set, pushing their cars out to turn it into a 2-stop race, to have an extra set for this moment right here. A lot of drivers coming in, but Medlin, they went from being drivers that were about 6 laps older than everyone else that they're battling up front, to now they're going to have the advantage, and it's going to be 16 lap difference between the drivers that are getting fresh tires now and those that stayed out.
Yeah, definitely. See the race off pit road. The 00 will beat the 12 of Medlin out. Wow, that was a really good opportunity right there for the 00 to see it, and he took advantage of it, and he'll get that. That's really good for that first spot. Every driver loves seeing that first pit box having an advantage over every other driver, but Sam, it looks like no drivers took 2 tires, all of them for 4 tires right now, electing that interesting strategy, or not interesting strategy, I mean, kind of, but they have fresher tires than the rest of the field. Andrew Medlin looks like he's going to be in position, let's see, 30th, I believe? No, he's behind lap cars right now. It looks like they will be in position 21. So they're going to have to make up around 20 spots to get back up to the lead. Do you think 16 lap different tires in just around 18 laps is enough, Sam?
No, not at all. Paul House is going to need a caution for him to get back into this thing, and he'd already used all his sets of tires. If anything, it's more of just in case the drivers in front of him get into a wreck, 18 could gain and swoop those positions from everyone else. Another driver we're going to have to keep our eyes out on of those that are on the lead lap. I mean, Scott Rickard, he was able to get fresh rubber, and he's back in 12th position. He's only got to pass 11 drivers to get up front. It is possible for Scott to do so, as he was one of the fastest drivers under race pace scenario. And he's not going to have to really worry about saving those tires, because this length that we're in is around the stint that we were seeing that 05 being the fastest car on track. And it's no longer save your tires for anything. It's go time. It is a sprint to finish out this race.
And it's definitely, it's going to be a sprint for any driver, especially all the drivers on fresher tires. But the only problem is they're on colder tires, much colder tires, and they're going to have to cut their way through traffic to be able to do that. And they're going to be through constant dirty air during the entire run. For folks out there who don't know what dirty air is the car in front of you cutting through the air while they're trying to while they're going around the track. They're cutting through air. And not only that, but while that air is going underneath the car while they're doing that, the air then shoots back up in a vortex fashion, that unsettles the car behind them. You know, it creates draft because they're cutting through a space of air, so they're not having to drag the nose of the car behind them. But the car in front of them then has to go through that vortex of air, which then takes the nose off the front of the car, taking the downforce away and making the car either tight or snap loose. So cold tires, which makes the car already loose, plus dirty air, then it's very hard for drivers to do much and gain a lot of time in a short amount of time. So it's going to be interesting to see if we see any wrecks or any drivers who pushed it 3-4 wide in the first couple of laps. But I guess we'll find out as the lights off in the pace car, and we're going to find out this next lap.
Your top drivers, those that did not pit, was your top three. It's Derek Offerman, Eric Schwartz, as well as Mike Watts, your Daytona winner. And then behind him, you've got that of Travis Butt, Andrew Medlin, Nick Holland, Kyle McCoy, Wade. You've also got Hale Dart. Your top 10, completely different from what we've been seeing for most of the race, because you've got drivers outside of the top 10 who are trying to make that comeback. I mean, you got that of Rickard, who's trying to make his move forward. We already know that Timmy McNally is practically out of this race. He has to go back into the pit box and get service done. He's 11, about to be 12 laps down. But I feel like we're going to be having a Kansas moment where it is going to get aggressive. We're going to be seeing drivers make contact. And admins had told us before this race they were going to watch restarts to see who was making illegal passes too early, as in the rule book, you can't go 3 wide until you're on the backstretch. It's time to see who's going to win this sprint, as it is green flag in the air. It's the 13 of Schwartz who's in the lead, but here comes Offerman on the inside.
Now all our eyes are now on the 68, the 00, and the 12. You know, Medlin already getting around that 84 of Dart. You know, oh, we got to
go. Already working to the back, as it's going to be issues for the drivers that are further back. The 33 involved, SRE, the 223 as well, and that little bit of aggression I was talking about, the drivers were going to be feeling. It all ensued in the middle of the pack around 21st position. It looks like the 1 gets tapped by the 31, and away they go. That was Jason Riddick, who was a lap down. He's the only with drivers that are on the back half of the field trying to really challenge and battle the other drivers that would be in contention to gain any positions.
Yeah, and that's very unfortunate now for the leaders who took the fresh tires, because that was about 17 laps they would have had green, which is really, really good for those leaders, because that's the longest amount of time you're going to want on fresh tires over than drivers who are around now. It's about 17 to 20 lap different rubber, but now that's going to cut around to 12 laps less, or around 10 to 12 laps on a restart now. That's less time. The leaders love to see it right now, but it looks like what, the 12 of Medlin now in 6th place, I believe. That's what it's showing me. And now the 00, Travis Butt up to 3rd already. The 13 and the 20. Not going to like that, because now that strategy is kind of out the window for them unless they can really hold off fresh tires for around 10 to 12 laps.
Yeah, I mean, but our pole sitter, he showed that he had the speed really early on, that he could battle up front, but based off his qualifying time and some of his practice laps that he's putting down. But since the drop of the green, the double zero has been constantly in conservation mode, immediately backing off. Same for Offerman, who's up in second place, who was really in a danger zone. He's going to need another caution to have a chance to defend himself, as Brett Somers able to come around, be the lucky dog position. Going to be giving us a total of 23 drivers on the lead lap. But we really haven't seen how aggressive he can be. We've seen how Nick Holland can be aggressive for himself, but I feel like even when we go green, it's just he's going to fall off in those last 2 laps. I don't know if he's got the tire wear conservation to save his tire wear. Mike Watts, who's in 5th place, he's one of those drivers that did not pit, doesn't have an extra set of tires to take on. He's stuck with these old ones that a lot of late cautions would help out the 84 for himself. And Andrew Medlin, this kind of is giving flashbacks of what we saw last week at Kansas, when it was Medlin and also Rickard that were lined up in the 3rd row, waiting for their chance to be aggressive to move up front. It worked out for Rickard and for Medlin. Medlin finishing in 2nd, Rickard in 1st. There's now no Rickard. It's Medlin who's going to be in the best spot, I feel like, with the tire wear situation to make us move forward. And Kyle McCoy, who has been having a lot of loose sensation issues for the 7, I'm not feeling pretty confident for the 7. If he has to get aggressive, be full throttle for most of these corners, if he's going to be able to hold on when that car gets loose on the exit of 4 or the exit of 2.
Oh, most definitely, and that's what a driver likes and doesn't like in a car. You know, the saying always is loose is fast, but when you're trying to push the most out of your car, you want it to have the most speed you can out of a corner. And when you're too loose on a corner or entering a corner where you don't feel comfortable, you know, you lose time. You don't feel comfortable enough in the setup to carry as much speed as you can through the corner. Having a loose car on exit is really good, because then you can work with how much speed you can scrub off on exit. But entry and center, you can't really do much about it, and that's where you can lose a lot of speed. The only thing you can do is just back out of the throttle and lose time. So right now, like you said, not very confident in the 7. He's in P7 right now. You know, let's hope that the 7 knows in the back of his head that his car is really loose. You know, maybe, Sam, that could have also been just an event of being aero loose by 2 cars side by side with him, taking away the side force and the downforce on the side of the car that he always had. You know, he's fast at cookie cutter tracks. We know this. He was the ARCA champion and really quick there. But like you said, if you're not comfortable with your car, you don't have the confidence to win a race.
Drivers getting lined up and ready to go green for themselves here, and it certainly has really changed everything. We were green for so long, then we had some technical issues that made us have to drop the stream, and while we were off stream, carnage for that of the drivers. It seemed like if you were leading, you were going to get caught up with a lap traffic car hitting you of some sort. That happened to Scott Rickard as well for that of McNally. We almost saw for a couple of other drivers having issues with lap cars. Do want to give note, coming into this race, we only have ran 2 races. We had 5 drivers that were able to have a top 10 finish in each race. Our points leader coming into this race, Adam Allen, he's going to be finishing last here tonight. And then you've also got Timmy McNally, who's going to be finishing all the way back in 27th. And those are 2 out of our 3 drivers. The other 3 drivers we're looking out for is Kyle McCoy. He's looking poised to be finishing in the top 10 for continuing that. Could be our points leader going into the next race. You've also got Derek Offerman and Eric Schwartz. Those 3 drivers have finished in the top 10 each race. We'll see if they can continue that trend for themselves, as up front we wait. It's Eric Schwartz, Offerman, Nick Holland, Butt, as well as Medlin. Your top 5. Watts in 6th. Pace car is off, and it's time to see 13 laps. Who's going to get it done as Schwartz gets the green, and they're almost thinking about going through white. But Butt's got a lot of momentum. Watch out for the double zero.
There comes the double zero, already hot in the heels of the 20 car. Not going to be good, but he's going to send it 3 wide. Oh, he barely slipped in between the 68. That was a close call. Now the double zero is going to have all that 13 right in his highs, but same thing. Now he's got the 68 full in his mirror. The 68's not going to like that move. But here's the double zero, all right to the inside of the 13. Here's the 12 of Medlin as well.
He's going. He's absolutely attacking, but now up to the lead, and he's got to watch out for the 12. He's now going to wall up cars as Schwartz and also in as Schwartz and others. It looks like there is carnage in the back. It looks like Trey Jackson out of control, but we stay green up front. Here comes Medlin on the inside. He's going to be getting by the 13, and now it's to see if Holland has enough grip to really hold off, as now our top 3, all with fresh tires, and it's now about who can win this mad dash as we're coming up to 11 laps to go.
We noticed the 68 really good on the short run. That's where he made up the most time. I feel like he's going to try to pounce now, trying not to get the 12 around him, so the 12 can try to catch the 00. But right now, I think this is the best time for the 68 to attack in the 00. But right now, 00 looks like he's pulling away just a little bit.
And as our front 3 battling and duking, it's also going to be Kyle McCoy up to 4th. The driver that's in 7th, about to be in 6th, about to be in our top 5. It's going to be Scott Rickard, who's coming, trying to go back-to-back wins. He won last week at Kansas. He's not out of it yet, as now he's going to have to force it 3 wide to go into the top 5. Scott Rickard's coming with a head of steam, and the front 4, they've got to be concerned, as he was the fastest car for Scott Rickard. He certainly is a driver that can contend, as here we go, 10 laps to go. It's Butt, Holland, Medlin, McCoy, and now it's going to be Wade battling up as Watts is dropped out of this thing, out of the top 10 soon. Those drivers that have older tires, their goal, finish in the top 10 or even in the top 15.
And here comes the 68, right on the bumper of the 00. A little bit far back now, but under a 10, less than a car length between them. Right now, this is the 68's time to pounce. The 00 trying to cut the apron as much as he can to pull away as much as he can from the 68, but right now, the 68, this is the time he has to do it. He made the center roll so much better, but can he get the run on exit?
Up front, they're all single filed out. It is side by side, just madness as Watts getting pushed around. Back in 10th place, they're 3-4 wide back there. As up front, it's side by side for the lead. Holland, he's gone, trying to make the inside lane work. Here comes the 68, as he is right there, just doesn't have the momentum. It goes to the 00 across the line. Gotta wait. Holland, wait, there they go, wrecking in the back. It's going to be Mike Lynch and others. It's a giant pile up, more cars piling in. Massive wreck late in this thing, and this could be putting us in a 3-lap contention here late in this race.
Yeah, the 00 really liked that move right there. He had the 68 inside of him, was probably going to pass him going on the exit towards the backstretch, but right there, that caution saved him entering 1. And man, wow, that was some duking out, and we still have 8 to go, Sam.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a lot of this started up with Watts being pushed around, and then drivers just not sure where to place themselves because they were all side by side, little contacts here or there. And it's just one of those things where drivers trying to be aggressive, but it kind of backfires on themselves, as it's everywhere. I mean, there is no true way to pick out who was the true catalyst of this thing.
Yeah, the 51 got a couple times. Looked like it was a little bit of ARCA braking right there, but oh man, that's just, wow, that was a parking lot.
Yeah, looking back on it, looks like the catalyst was Dylan Grimm getting contact with Watts, and then everyone else behind him just had nowhere to go, with Mark Beverly contact and the 21 involved, of Messick, and it just it gets to those points where drivers are, the admins certainly are going to look over this one, as like you stated, ARCA brakes for a lot of these guys, not knowing how to slow down once they see smoke in front of them, which you would think you see smoke, hold off, but because, I mean, there was also a yellow really early on in that spin. I mean, yeah, you got to just send it.
Yep, exactly. I'm through, Harry. I'm through. But,
to be a hero when they see smoke, and it usually backfires horrifically most of the time, as drivers now we're gonna have to pile into pit road, try to get service done. For a lot of them, it could be race ending, as wow, I mean, that's just a massive wreck for themselves.
Yeah, definitely, and that's very unfortunate. Just, oh man, especially when drivers, like you said, seeing smoke, just trying to get as many positions as they can before that yellow flies. But when the yellow flies, you're gonna stay in the same spot even after this wreck happens. So I don't understand why some drivers, just like you mentioned, ARCA braking, just trying to go through the wreck, but you never know.
Very, very true. You never know. And up front, if anything, this has got to be scary for the drivers that were trying to pull away from Scott Rickard. I mean, Rickard is now in striking distance. He's going to be the third row back. He's going to be starting on the high line. And you got to be worrying about that. But also for Medlin, he's now going to be in the second row with McCoy. The 12 is going to be on the inside trying to follow the 68. But the high line seems to be what's getting going early. So maybe you want to be on the high lane.
Yeah, but the thing, it's just drivers, you know, with fresh tires like this, now that they're having the chance to cool down, you're just trying to set the fastest times you can to be able to win this race. The fastest times right now will be on the bottom now that the air pressure and the heat of the tire is going to cool down for these next couple laps. Looks like we're going to have 2 to green when this restart after this caution ends. Sorry about that. And it looks like you mentioned, a 3-lap shootout. Now, the thing is let's see if the 00, but I would believe so. It looks like he might be taking the top. Who knows? He might be taking the bottom. From the looks of it right now, it looks like he wants to take the top, but the 68 of Holland, the 12 of Medlin, the 7 of McCoy, all were pouncing. The 05 of Rickard were all trying to attack on the bottom. I don't know how this restart will end up. I don't know if any at 3 wide, even if there's a rule against it. We saw it last week at Kansas. They might do it again, but who you got your eyes on for this restart, Sam?
I think Medlin or Rickard's going to be the one that wins this thing. There's just, looking at the field, there's no one else really with true speed from those two guys that they've been having through the start of this thing, but haven't really been watching Butt either, but I feel like we're going to be seeing a caution come out. It's going to be coming from the middle of the field around 15th place because Brett Somers, who we've seen cause a couple of wrecks, he's used up his fast repair, he's got fresh tires, he's got the freshest of tires out of everyone on the field. Chaos certainly can be circled around the 17, as that is probably the scariest driver on the course right now for myself.
Yeah, I just got to keep an eye out for that 68 and the 12. You know, 68 of Holland, as you can see this restart right here, 1 to green, 00 taking that high side, trying to avoid the bumps in 1 and 2, trying to take, you know, as much speed onto the backstretch in the first couple of laps as he can. The 12 and the 68, though, I believe they're going to have a really good restart, but now the 7 right behind the leader, the 00 of Butt, but also the 05 of Rickard right behind the 7. So this is going to be an incredible restart right here, Sam.
Travis Butt, our pole sitter, really spent the first 3/4 of this race in the back half of the field after a weird pit stop, after our first caution, the first 10 laps. He needed another caution to get him up front. It worked out, and now he is trying to challenge to win for the lead. He's got that of Nick Holland to his inside, who's going to be in second place. Holland's been up front, but his tire wear conservation's been terrible. McCoy somehow in third. You got Medlin in fourth. You got Scott Rickard, who's been dominant all race long, caught up in a late caution. And now we'll see what the 05 has here, as he's got a lot of work to do. He's in the same exact spot he was in last week, and he won last week. But this time, it's going to be wheel spin up front just slightly, getting that low lane note going nowhere. McCoy follows the 00. We are green, 3 laps to go here for the Vegas High Roller 200 for the Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series. Going into turn number 1, it's going to be Butt, McCoy, Holland, Medlin in third. It's going to be in 4th place, but moving up, it's going to be McCoy, pushed up by Holland, but here comes Medlin with a head of steam.
The 00, Butt really likes this now that the 2 cars behind him side by side, losing the tie, but here's Medlin looking in between them, trying to get the run through the corner, but now he's going to be held up by the 68, but pulling away now with this clean air, and now the cars behind him losing time. Right now, 2 to go, almost 3 wide going into 1 per second.
Medlin's blocked. He's absolutely stuck. Here comes Wade, now going to be on the inside of Rickard. But certainly right now, Medlin, he has got the speed, but he is bogged down, stuck, and it's a wall. He's going to have to force it 3 wide. Has to pick and choose. Does he go below the 68, or does he go high on the 7? And they're just picking the middle ground. They are completely defending and blocking the whole entire stretch. The 12's got nowhere to go, but absolutely pulling away and coming to the white flag, Travis Butt. He might have had disaster last week, but he's just got to hit his marks, as there is a wall of drivers blocking off that of the 12 in the 05. Nick Holland, he's got to be careful. He's drifting up, almost making contact with a 7. Now giving space. They're going to be 3 wide for second place, but it's going to be that of Travis Butt entering turn number 3. He's solid. He's good. Rickard's going to go to the high side. The 00. He might have finished almost last week, but from 0 to hero, here comes Travis Butt, winning for the Vegas High Roller 200 for the Stars and Stripes as they're just slamming into one another coming across the line. But stay straight. Hal McCoy, Nick Holland, your other top 3.
Very interesting strategy all day around for that 00. From 0 to hero there. Incredible race for the 00. Travis Butt recovering from that. Yeah, he started on the pole. We knew he had a really fast car all day. Interesting strategy calls for him, but you know that strategy call is now going to put him in victory lane. Incredible recovery for that 00. And very, very hard racing for that finish right there. But the 7 of Kyle McCoy, like you mentioned, going to finish in second place. Really good recovery for him as well.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure what McCoy was going to do with fresh tires, if he was going to get out of control or able to hold on for himself. You know, Scott Rickard's absolutely fuming after being taken out by a lap car when he was looking poised with the strategy to win the race. But sometimes you need some luck, and that's what the 00 had, as it looks like we might be seeing our top 3 deciding to burn it down together. Or they might be just lining up, but certainly some great racing for themselves. Travis Butt, Kyle McCoy, Nick Holland. We'll talk to our top 3 in just a few. As what an incredible end to this thing. We were able to finish, didn't need overtime, but it's going to be that of Travis Butt winning the Vegas High Roller 200. We'll be back in just a few. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, to the conclusion of race number 3 here in Las Vegas for the Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series. We do have our top 3. We'll be bringing up third place runner, that of Nick Holland, who somehow snuck away with third place finish when I really wasn't sure if he was going to be hold on with how much racing action there was behind him. Nick, it's Sam up at the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you. How you doing?
Third place finish for yourself. It was a mad dash there at the end. Didn't know if we were going to go into overtime or not, but somehow you snuck away with third place finish with some hard racing between yourself and also McCoy. How was that last couple of laps there?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was. I saw him get the restart, and I thought, hey, maybe teammates talking to each other because they took off the exact same time. But at that point, it was just trying to salvage what I could. And the bottom line, you can't do anything on the bottom line. So it was. But yeah, it's good to finally get a good finish since the start of the season has not been what I would have hoped.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly a weird race for a lot of people. I mean, we saw Travis going all the way to the back somehow with luck, found himself up front. For yourself, it seemed like conserving your tire wear was probably one of your biggest issues. How was it trying to evolve and understand how to save your tires throughout this race?
Yeah, that's I know that I haven't raced a whole lot of these cars, so I know that dragging the brakes a little bit if you have a lot of rear bias helps a lot with the right front, but yeah, I just tried to get a big jump there at the beginning of the race and put some space between me and try to conserve tires, and by the end of that run, my tires were gone. So I learned from there not to do that again. So.
Well, we got to race at Super Speedway Racing, 2.5 mile courses. We're now going to Richmond next week. How you feeling about going to Richmond and short track racing?
Just gonna have to survive. That's the only key to that.
I would say that is a pretty solid choice there. Well, Nick, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, just shout out to you guys up in the booth. The broadcast is always solid, and you guys do a great job announcing. And Nate and everybody who puts the league on, and yeah, looking forward to the rest of the season for sure. Hopefully it turns around and this is a consistent finish, though.
Yeah, I mean, we've consistently seen that you have the ability to be up front, and sometimes, like we saw tonight, you need to have a little bit of luck and avoid lap traffic. And
Yep.
I think tonight it was the best thing that you weren't the leader, and when you did become the leader, you got into pit road quickly. But Nick, for tonight, congratulations on a top 3 finish. Good luck next week.
Thanks, guys.
Well, moving you around, Nick, my bad. As we'll now bring up that of Kyle McCoy, who was able to fend off, get by that of the 68 when they were side-by-side battling for that second place position. Kyle, it's Sam up the booth. You got me?
Hey there, I got you.
Well, Kyle, you certainly put on a show. You took off right when Travis did, and it worked out best for you because it set you up to try to battle side-by-side for second place. Was there anything else you could have done there to make that pass a little bit sooner and maybe battle Travis at all there in these final 3 laps?
Yeah, I mean, I knew my best shot was probably going to be second on that restart. We started fourth, and Travis and I were teammates, so we got the jump together, which really helped us both out. I knew that was our best shot of the 1-2, and so honestly, I kind of stuck it on the top and hoped I could hold those guys back long enough to let Travis get away. And then I figured if I could get clear, maybe I'd have a shot at him, but it wasn't. It was so tough to battle side by side. And that clear track is just such a huge advantage that I knew kind of my race was for second there at that point, unfortunately. But after all the stuff I had going on, I'll take that.
I mean, Kyle, we saw during this race when you were on fresher tires and the longer the run went on, it just seemed like you were losing the back end a lot coming out of turn 2. What was so hard and difficult with coming out of turn 2 for yourself?
Yeah, I burned the rear tires off it bad on the second run for sure. And I mean, to be honest with you, it was faster a little bit when you hung out the back end a little. So part of that was on purpose, but not quite. A couple of those times was not quite that much. So especially when you're trying to make passes, the car it doesn't rotate, and then it rotates all at once. So it really kicks in quick. And if you want to be fast, you got to follow the rotation. But I let it get over rotate a little bit, and that would continually burn it off. So trying to keep those guys in my windshield there just close enough that I could make up on that last green flag stop, which we didn't end up getting because of the caution sign randomly. That keeping up with them was why I was trying to push so hard, and so that I just ended up burning the race off a little bit too much, and that was the result. But it was fast that way, but it was blue, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, certainly a great run. You've been one of some of the most consistent racing we've seen. You were tied with that of Adam Allen coming into tonight's race. Allen had probably the worst finish he could have asked for, but you finished up in second. Do you think about points this early on in the season, and are you concerned about having any poor races now with the consistency you've had in these first 3 races?
That's a good question. I would say points isn't a huge consideration right now, but it's important to get off to a fresh start like this. I mean, with as many cars as we got in this field, it's a challenge to be in that top 12 when the playoffs come around. So a good start definitely takes some of the pressure off and gives me a little bit of breathing room and some experimentation to be had later on. Those are some of my best racetracks there at the beginning, so I knew I wanted to be strong. And luckily, I was able to follow up on that. We got Richmond coming up, which is not my favorite racetrack, so hopefully we'll be able to come out of there okay. But I took advantage of the tracks that I knew I could excel at, and so it helps to be in the points lead for sure. Absolutely, I enjoy that, but we're a lot like fans.
Absolutely, and Kyle, great run here tonight. And obviously, good luck next week. Before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, well, shout out to Travis for taking that outside on our last one. That helped him out and it helped me out, so I appreciate that. I don't know if I would have finished second with that, with those guys up front, and how hard it was to pass. Thanks to Brian and Josh for my teammates. We put the practice in yesterday and made up some pace for sure. And thanks to you guys for the broadcast on. It's really, really good. Appreciate having something to go back and watch this high quality. So I appreciate that a ton. And thanks to Nate and Derek for putting this on. And yeah, I'm excited for next week. See what happens.
Well, that's Kyle McCoy, able to finish in second place. And Kyle, good luck at surviving at Richmond next week.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
And his teammate Travis Butt able to come out finish in first place for himself. Travis, it's Sam up in the booth. You got me?
Got it.
Well, you got the pole position, and then you've started fading back. You've made a pit stop, and under our first yellow, you went all the way to last place at one moment. But in the end, some luck fell into your favor, and you found yourself leading this thing with 3 laps to go. I mean, what a race for yourself.
Well, it was fun. My strategy was to save tires. Tires is really important there, and I was just gonna save them, just hang on. And I figured if I was around the 10th position at some point, I would gain all the way back and probably get back to the front. They were running pretty hard there, and that caution came out. I'm like, you know what? If I have like 8 extra laps of fuel, I should be in good shape. And that's what I need. I need that caution to fall in the right spot, and I guess I won the race, so it fell in a good spot. So it was fun. I had a strategy. I said I was going to save my stuff, and I think some people had strategies where they were going to run 30 laps and pit, and us teammates, all of us at Cycle and Motorsports, decided we were going to go for the long haul, and I obviously see we finished 1-2, so it was good.
I mean, Travis, they're late, and Kyle even noted it when we were interviewing him, of the fact that you guys kind of worked together on that restart. How nice was it knowing that the driver behind you on this final restart was your teammate to just take off with one another?
Oh, it's always good, and it's cool to have that communication aspect of things, and the people around us don't know what's happening. So he kind of pointed out, he's like, hey, how about we start 2-4 right here, on the outside, and how about we just push each other? And I was like, yeah, I didn't even think about that. And we timed it up perfectly where we both hit the gas same time, and I actually went back and replay to see how close we were to anything in the pit. The pace car was in pit road, so it was perfect. And Kyle's a great racer. He's probably our best guy, by far. and he's got confidence. He didn't want to run. He's like, I'd love to run second. So that's just a teammate.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to Richmond next week, and you already got your first win this season. How you feeling about going for number 2 at Richmond next week?
I've done better on running short tracks. Richmond's probably not my best short track, but it's not my worst. So we'll do some practice a little bit, and we'll figure out some setup stuff, and we'll adjust, and I think we'll get good. Well, us forward, Brian and all of us, and Kyle and all, we work really well together. So we're able to bounce off ideas and, hey, what's working for you, what's not working for you, and we'll be good. We'll be prepared. So I think it showed today at Vegas, where all 4 of us are pretty prepared, and I think the other 2 teammates, they kind of got unlucky on where the pit strategy fell, and we're fast, so it's good to see.
Absolutely. Well, Travis, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, thanks to the sports community. They jumped on board to help out, and thanks to you guys for putting on a good show. Everyone, I shared it on my Facebook, and it's cool to see people, after the fact of the race, got to watch and stuff. So thanks for you guys for doing the booth, and I know you guys do a great job up there. I don't get to listen to it during the race, so and thanks to Kyle for that little push at the end, and cool to see he's like on the Sports 1 too.
Travis, congratulations on your win here, and you made a great rebound after last week, coming this week for a win, and hopefully that consistency and from tonight continues on into the future, and good luck next week and for the rest of the season.
Yeah, appreciate it. Should have been good top 5 finishes all 3 weeks, but it is what it is. It's racing.
Absolutely. Well, that was Travis. And Hunter, what are some of your final thoughts as our final results come in, which these are going to be unofficial, as admins are going to have to look over some of these cautions and see who's getting penalized and who's not.
I mean, it was awesome racing all throughout. Great strategies by many drivers, like the 00 Travis Butt. It was pretty good racing, especially in the last 20 laps, where drivers really had to push it and not really save their stuff like they were doing in the past 130 laps. So it was awesome to see some of the drivers make their way back up to the field, like the 00 and the 7. Congrats to the top 5 finishers of Butt, McCoy, Holland, Medlin, and Rickard. Really impressive drive for the 05 Rickard after losing all that time for getting wrecked out as the leader while we were away. So very impressive driving by all those drivers today, and man, that was an interesting race to call.
Certainly was. Again, to take note, this race has been broken up into 2 parts. So if you watch the first half of this race, you will have to go to the second half. It's going to be another video like you've been seeing right now live. But we'll take a look here at our final results. Travis Butt going to be getting the win here with Kyle McCoy in 2nd place. Nick Holland going to be getting 3rd with that of Andrew Medlin. Scott Rickard, your top 5. Then you got Chris Wade with Andrew Hale, as well as Derek Offerman. It's got to give credit to that of Bill Dart, able to move up, get a 9th place finish after the contact that the 77 had throughout this race. And also for Eric Schwar, who was on the older tires, able to get that 10th place finish. Same thing for Mike Watts in 11th, who was on those older tires. Great rebound for that of Paul House, and driver with the freshest tires really wasn't able to gain too much. That for Brett Salmers. But some other drivers of note, that Adam Allen came into this race as our points leader, came out last place. It is terrible for that 89 machine, but middle of the pack, some of these other drivers, Mike Lynch, we know that Chris SRE, fan favorite, finishing out in 25th. He's going to want to recover from that, being the first car 1 lap down. Trey Jackson, another one of those drivers. Our debut driver of Adam Slaughter, going to be getting a 26th position. But some of these other guys that are back here, Timmy McNally, another one of those guys, didn't get the finish he wanted in that of 37th. But Hunter, any of these other drivers that you're seeing on the board that you kind of are hoping to have a rebound race next week?
Like you mentioned, Adam Allen, who was the points leader, falling way back to pretty much dead last. Oh man, that's the driver that stands out the most to me. That is the worst thing you want to see as a points leader.
Yeah, he's going to have to really try to come back and make a rebound here. But like we've said, Richmond's the next race for race number 4 here for the Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series. It was a wild one for us. Technical issues. We have a two-parter for everyone. First half was a lot of, one caution, a lot of green flag racing. Second part, kind of what Kansas was like. A lot of cautions, a lot of drama, but coming out with the win was that of Travis. But excited to how the next couple of races are going to go for this field. As start of the season's in, we're a couple of races into the season. We're going to see who's the cream of the crop and who are some of those drivers that are going to need to find different strategies if they want to be up front. But for myself, Sam Dyer, for Hunter Hayward, we're going to throw it up to the third man in the booth. That's going to be Robert Moyer, who's going to finish out the call.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for action-packed calling. Great action on the first part of this race, like you said there, Sam. And then we had technical problems, as Sam was saying, and Hunter, and we tried to keep the chat up to date with that the best we can. But we do appreciate everybody hopping over here to the second part and watching the ending here at Las Vegas with Stars and Stripes here. And man, great racing. It was fun watching, and we had some drama in the middle, and drama that we missed that is in the middle from what I heard as we were getting everything back up and running for you guys to be able to hear your top 3 interviews. But, well, with that being said, we're going to get our stuff packed up here at Las Vegas. We're going to get ready to head off on Saturday night. We'll be at good old Darlington with NISCC, the Cup Series, at 8:50. We'll be with them. There's going to be throwback schemes. So we'll make sure you tune in and for that race on Saturday night and see what kind of throwback schemes that these people come up with there on Saturday night, as Sam and Lee are going to be calling all the action Saturday night, like I said, at 8:50 Eastern. But until then, we hopefully everybody has a great rest of their Thursday night and be safe Friday, and we'll catch you Saturday night. Until then, we're going to say God bless everybody. We love yous all. Peace out.